a little bit of a nice segue into some of the more emerging technologies. 'Cause we talked about like established form factors, and we've talked about how these are constantly evolving. And we've also talked about the digital transformation that's coming around, and we're seeing new software applications, etc. Um, Obviously, IoT is the one that I've been banging a big drum about IoT, about how the mobile revolution, the cloud revolution that we talked about, they allowed us to do things that we were always doing, but just better and faster. Whereas IoT, I think, kind of changes the paradigm entirely. We see the shift away from break fix, we see the shift towards preventative and proactive maintenance. Obviously, that kind of goes hand in hand now because the vast amount of data that we're seeing, the petabytes of data and zettabytes, no human can go through that, so that goes hand in hand with AI. The obvious question, I suppose, would be, where do you, as a technologist and somebody that's intimately aware of the industries you work in, but also has been a distinguished career working with technology, where do you see those kind of alignments coming to a head? And also, then putting your Durabook hat back on, how do you see the integration of handheld devices or rugged computing devices with things like IoT sensors on the asset when the maintenance is being done, etc.? I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, Chris, I think you kind of, bring it all together, in your question. I mean, so we have a couple things that are all happening at the same time, right? So you've got a choice of different devices, different form factors, different sizes, right, for different use cases. But what all these devices have in common is they've got the computing power and speed to be able to do things on the devices that you couldn't necessarily do in the past. And then you've got, as you also mentioned, about different kinds of things that can be integrated into the devices. Things like barcode scanners and RFID to be able to collect information, right? From the data collection side, right? You talked a little bit about having screens that can be read in direct sunlight, right? So you can see them out in the field. And battery life, they can last all day long, right? So all of these technologies have kind of converged into, at least the tablets and notebooks we have, so that you can actually take advantage of some of this, on the software side, being able to take advantage of some of these features. And so, for example, something like analytics on the device, right, is something that can be done now that really couldn't be done before. And what that really means is, okay, you're collecting all this information and data, okay, and that's great. But now, because of, and you mentioned before, some of the AI technologies, right, you can actually be able to use the device to analyze some of that data that you're collecting, without having to send it to a cloud somewhere and waiting 2 weeks. So the fact that you've got enough computing power on the device itself to be able to do some of these things you didn't have before. I would say the other piece, as we're talking about some of these new technologies, and you didn't ask about this specifically, but, especially in the world of field service, right, is, our devices, for example, have built-in cameras. You get a camera on our tablets, camera on the back and a camera on the front. So someone in the field can take a picture or a video of something and take advantage of, different AR technology, augmented reality technologies to be able to, either, transmit what they're seeing to somebody else, or be able to use AI to be able to decipher what they're looking at and what maybe needs to happen next. These software packages exist today, and now we have devices that can do these things. I think it all kind of comes together really nicely right now. I mean, I think that this is something in 2024, maybe really started in 2023, but now in 2024, some of these technologies are becoming much more widely adopted.